it's Drybear. Monster Hunter Wilds open beta / demo is upon us. PS Plus can start playing tonight, and I wanted to update you on the things that are coming in this version, plus Wilds, and also some things that you need to do before the demo and during the demo to make sure you're caught up. Now, just to make sure everyone's on the same page, because I still get asked this every single day, when is it available? How can I get it? Let's make sure that we cover this again. I've covered this in the past, but let's cover it again. If you are PlayStation 5 PS Plus, like you're a PS Plus member, you will gain exclusive early access to the demo / open beta tonight, October 28th at 8 p.m. Pacific, so that you can ride all the way through Wednesday, so that it before the major update, or it goes full open beta on Thursday. Tonight, Monday, 8 p.m. Pacific, so whatever your time zone conversion is, that will be your start time for you. So that's only for PlayStation 5 PS Plus, but what they're going to do is they're going to give everyone a pre-download option to pre-download the game. The demo is about 30 gigabytes of space, so if you need to fill that up on your console or your PC, just so you're aware, you'll be able to pre-download it a day before your day, which means that PlayStation 5 PS Plus users can already pre-download the game and play it tonight at 8 p.m. Pacific time. If you're on Xbox Series X or Xbox Series S, or you're on PC with Steam, the start time will be October 31st at 8 p.m. Pacific time, so whatever conversion that is for your current time zone. And again, since it's going to be 24 hours before that, starting Wednesday night, you'll be able to pre-download the game on Steam and Xbox in order to get into the open beta, and this will run all the way through November 3rd at 6:59 p.m. Pacific time. So on that day, Sunday, the 7 p.m. Pacific time is when it will end. So you have those 3 days to run through the whole weekend, and you get a couple extra days if you're playing on PlayStation 5 PS Plus. Now, I've already put out a video going over the weapons in Monster Hunter Wilds, so if you're jumping into the game and want to know which one to try, I'll leave a link to that down below in the description and in the comments. But you definitely want to take this chance to try out the weapons. What's great about Monster Hunter demos in general is that it will allow you to have an equal equipment level for all of the 14 weapons in the game, and try them out in the hunts in the game as well. So you can switch seamlessly between the weapons, try them out in a hunt with a full set. Normally, when you play a Monster Hunter game, if you progress any further into the story, if you want to switch to a new weapon, you'll have to go farm the materials, craft it, and possibly change your armor sets and whatever accessories you have with you as well in order to play that new weapon. But in a demo, you can mess around with all of them, switching between them constantly, trying them out, and figure out which one is going to be for you and which one you might want to play through the full campaign of the game when Wilds comes out in February. Now, the open beta will have a couple different options for you that you can try out and play around with that you'll want to be aware of going into the full launch of the game. Firstly is going to be character creation. This is going to be a big step. This is just like Dragon's Dogma 2. You'll be able to have access to the full character creator for your Palico and your character, and you'll want to mess around with this, and you can actually, just like in Dragon's Dogma 2, save your character customization and port it over to launch, which means that you'll save that file, it'll save it for you if you're on the same platform, and when launch comes out, you'll have your character made. You can jump right in and start playing when the game launches live. And the open beta is free. This is not a pre-order exclusive open beta or demo. Anyone on any platform that has access to it can download the game and try it for this open beta period. You don't have to be someone who has pre-ordered the game already. The demo will also feature a couple different activities that you can go into. There is one full story trial for the Chatacabra. This is going to be like encountering the Chatacabra for the first time. So you'll have to go out on a mission for this quest, look for the monster, track them down, then a special cutscene will play. You'll learn about them and they'll have some cool interactions with it, and then you'll eventually hunt the Chatacabra and complete the hunt. The next option is going to be running with the Doshaguma hunt. This is a pack-based monster, so you'll have to separate the pack using a dung pod or something to get them to separate out, or fight all of them at once, but there is an Apex Doshaguma, and then there's other ones there as well, so you can play through that. There's also going to be expedition options in the demo, and this isn't officially confirmed, but it's very possible that we'll be able to go on an expedition and find other monsters on that expedition in this first zone, the Wild Plain, because that's the zone that we're going to be able to play in the demo. And we know that because of the weather system, it's very possible that we'll gain access to the Ray Dow encounter. This is the apex predator of the Wild Plains, the first zone, and he only shows up during a sandstorm, so you'll have him appear. It's possible that we'll be able to access this. We will probably be very under-geared, and this will be the challenge of the demo, is to try to hunt the Ray Dow and take him down, and there could be other monsters in the expedition that we can just loosely fight or explore or just do open hunts on. And hopefully this is the case, though it's not been officially confirmed that this will be in the demo. Now let's talk about what's different about Wilds, whether you're someone who has played a Monster Hunter game before or you're not, you're jumping into this brand fresh. There are going to be some new mechanics in Monster Hunter Wilds that are different from other games that are going to be really cool improvements on the overall formula. Firstly, this game is going to be focused a lot more on the ecosystems and the storytelling. This is something that they've messed around with in previous games, but it's always been about the hunt and the gameplay, and they specifically mentioned in interviews this time that they want to focus on the ecosystem, the community, and the villages that exist. So it's going to be a lot more integrated there. And they also want to give you more quality of life options. So one thing they're going to add to the game with Wilds is a pop-up camp. So you'll be able to deploy a camp anywhere out in the world. And then what they want to do is they want you to be able to stay out in the world longer and have it feel more open world and more immersive rather than like the quest, like load into a quest, hunt a monster, load back into a town and do that over and over. They want you to feel like you're constantly in the hunt, you're living out in the wilds, living off the land, and dealing with the monsters as they come up. Additionally, there will be a weapon swap system in Wild, which is brand new as well. And so what you'll be able to do is be able to bring along on your mount a secondary weapon that you don't have currently equipped. And this is something that's brand new. So you could actually make a full loadout of 2 different weapons in Wilds, which is awesome because you could then have almost your own little party system. Maybe you bring a light bowgun for range and a great sword for close range. Maybe you bring a hunting horn so you can actually use that for buffs and then switch over to your dual blades for crazy damage. But having that secondary weapon available to you without having to go back to a camp, a pop-up camp, you can just get on your mount, swap weapons, and get off. You'll be able to use that in a fight, creates a lot of new opportunities for the game. Next, every Monster Hunter has something new going for it. They like to mix the formula up, and focus mode is the big thing for Monster Hunter Wilds. You'll see us with these little dash marks on your reticle. Every weapon can enter into focus mode, and this will gain access to a new ability or multiple new abilities depending on which weapon you're using. It will allow you to do different things, trigger things on the monster, and aggravate the monster in different ways, activate new mechanics, or trigger new movement. The bow can do tracer shots where they seek onto the monster. You can do a grapple with the dual blades using the focus mode. Charge blade can do focus mode inside of the heavy axe form. So all of these things will change based on the weapon, and it gives you new depth and new animations for the weapons to play along with it as well. On top of that, with the focus mode, which works well with it, there is a brand new wound mechanic. And this is kind of like tenderizing from World Iceborne, but much improved. It's not just softening a spot for the hardness of it. You actually will see red spots appear. You can mark the monster, create wounds, and certain weapons will be able to interact with these wounds in different ways by opening up opportunities, causing more KO damage, and the like. Another big change for Monster Hunter Wilds is for the first time ever, your hunter and the palico will be fully voiced. And they've talked about wanting to do this in the past. They have always, for Monster Hunter games, gone with that first player, first person, perspective idea where they make the main character not talk. They do grunts and they vocalize some things, but for the most part they don't speak because they want it to feel like you're in that immersion and you are the character rather than you're watching the character from the outside. The palicos have always meowed and make meow noise, but in Monster Hunter Wilds they wanted to make it a little bit more immersive and a little bit more realistic, and in this case your hunter will actually speak and your palico will actually speak as well. Now they know there's diehard fans of the Monster Hunter series that don't like this change or won't like this change, so you'll be able to change this in the options to switch your cat, like turn your cat back to being illiterate and being unable to speak, so you can actually switch them back to just meows, but they will talk to you. And I think what they're trying to do is that rather than having your handler speak to you about call outs on the monsters, when they have certain weaknesses, when they enrage, your palico will actually do it instead, and you'll be able to customize this as well. And on top of that, they said that they were very careful to make sure that your hunter isn't talking all the time, but they will vocalize, and the palico will too, which is brand new for a Monster Hunter game. Another new aspect for Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be the weather system. So they're focusing a lot on trying to make it the Wilds version of the game, so it's more immersive as well. And so you're actually going to get situations where the weather will change. There will be weather events that pop up based on the region, storms, sandstorms, earth movements, things like that. And not only will that have interactions with some monsters, they've always talked about the apex monster, the big bad that you see on screen right now, him having special interactions depending on the weather in the area that you're hunting him. But also some monsters will only show up depending on the weather system that's there, and they'll disappear after a short while when the weather system is gone. So you will have constantly changing environments that have new interactions. They will amp up the monsters or weaken them, and you'll have to pay attention to what the weather is like at the current moment in time, which will create some new opportunities for you to play the game. Additionally, there's some really, there's a combination of getting back to basics, like with World, using the environment, using your wrist-mounted crossbow and clutch in order to trigger traps and grab things, but they're also going to go one step further in Wilds by allowing you to pick up items from a distant and also while you're mounted. So while you're on your Sekarat, you can grab items using your clutch by just pulling it to you, which makes the whole looting process way easier, way simpler, and way more enjoyable. And you can even instantly consume consumables. You can trigger the toads and hypno toads that are on the ground. So they want to make it a lot more interactive and clean in that way. And lastly, they want to make the game more accessible to more people. So there are more multiplayer options. You can, I know this is not that common nowadays, but you can play Monster Hunter Wilds offline if you'd like to. And in that case, you're not going to be forced to play solo. They did this in Rise a little bit, but they're expanding the system even further in Wilds. And that if you do an SOS flare, which means you're requesting people to help you hunt a monster, like you're on a quest, you're on a mission, you're looking for help, you can do an SOS flare. If you're offline or no one responds to the SOS, it will actually spawn 3 NPC AI hunters. They will join, and they all work pretty well. And again, expanding on the Rise system to make that easier. So if you're someone who likes hunting in groups, but no one's online at the time, or you just are, a loner and you want to play alone, and sometimes you want to have groups, but you don't want to have real players, you have the option of bringing along NPC hunters on top of that, as well as the expanded multiplayer. And hopefully Wilds ends up like World, and then it had kind of an MMO feel, and that everyone's playing it and talking about it all at once, and you have the chance to group up and make lots of new experiences. And that's what's coming for Monster Hunter Wilds. This is a game you definitely don't want to miss. It's going to be one of my favorite, if not my favorite game of 2025 for sure. And the beta demo is this week. It's a big thing that you want to be a part of and be prepared for. But let me know what you think down below in the comments. If you found value in today's video, leave a like down below, leave a comment for the algorithm to help this video get seen by more people. And don't forget to check out my other channels for other content and other stuff and other things.